desk.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask you something?
Yes, absolutely.
Really? We can. We can bring them.
What did it take to just have it installed on my tab? What does it take just to get you guys?
If you bring it up.
Just
Bring it in. I can
So-
set it up for you.
Weird thing.
We did that with yours, didn't we?
Yeah, it doesn't like the, well, I mean, you can still do a Google Drive, but it's an app on,
Just gotta download the Drive app on there.
It's all good.
okay.
Just get bigger by folders.
Oh, yeah,
No, you need bigger backpack straps.
No, it's all about that. It's not all it is. Right, gotcha. Okay, good. 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 Gotcha. I took that today. Nice Variance, good evening.
Actually, that would be because I like to keep the separation devices.
Call to order, City of Trinidad, October 8th, regular meeting for Planning and Zoning Variance Commission. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Coker,
Here.
Leone,
Here.
Martorano,
Here.
Norris,
Here.
Pritchard, Spain.
Here.
Public comments on any issues not listed on the agenda. Public comments on any issues not listed on the agenda. Approval of minutes.
I wasn't here, so.
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Coker,
Yes.
Leone,
Yes.
Martorano,
Abstain.
Norris,
Yes.
Pritchard, Spain.
Abstain.
New business. Public hearing. Highland Health. 02014 RMS-10, review of a conditional use permit for a retail marijuana store for a location of 1505 Santa Fe Trail, Trinidad, Colorado. Staff.
Thank you, Chairman. Daryl DeMarco received approval for the retail marijuana store on October 14 of 2014 for the location of 1505 Santa Fe Trail. The business is fully operational as a retail marijuana store. The business currently has 10 employees. New employees are provided a 2-week training process, including compliance training on the rules and regulations of the Medical Enforcement Division. Following this training, management shadows the new employee for the first month during interactions with customers. City staff performed site inspections at the location, and their findings are as follows. Site plans are consistent with plans submitted in the application. The floor plans remain the same with no changes from the last review. 16 security cameras are in place and operating. Security monitors and equipment are operating and secured within restricted access room. Product is secured both within locked display cases and within a safe in a locked office. Refuse product is destroyed for any deregulation, and a dumpster is locked and picked up weekly. Air filtration system is in place and operating. Signage has been completed through the permitting process with no additional signage since the last review. Staff recommends renewal of the retail marijuana store conditional use permit number 2014 RMS-10 for an additional year, with the next review in October of 2020. That's all I've got, Chairman.
Thank you. Is anyone here present to represent this application? Please come forward. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Daryl DeMarco, owner of Highland Health.
I'm Ann DeMarco, General Manager and wife of Daryl DeMarco of Highland Health.
Is there anything you want to bring forward to us other than what you have on the application this evening?
No.
No, sir.
Any questions?
I don't think so. I think everything.
How many years have you been in operation?
4.
We're starting our 5th year
We're
now.
going into our 5th year.
So how long did it take you to get it set up to go into operation?
A year.
1 year?
A good year.
I think you're doing amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Is that it?
Thanks so.
That's all you have to say? You can sit down.
Thank you.
Well done. Pass the gold.
Staff report?
I have nothing further.
Anyone here to speak for or against this application? Anyone here to speak for or against this application? I'll close the hearing. Commissioners?
They've passed all their inspections. They don't have any Anything red flagging on me? I think we're good for
Squeaky clean.
Yeah, I think they're doing amazing business. Great business. Always well kept.
Thank you.
Very nice and
you
neat.
work hard at that.
I know y'all do. Great job.
You have a clean operation up there.
Thank you.
I go by there all the time, and there's nothing outside there trashed up.
No, sir.
We try real hard, sir.
Okay, commissioners, what's yours?
Motion to
We need a
approve.
motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion approved and second, roll call.
Coker,
Yes.
Leoni,
Yes.
Martorano,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Pritchard, Spain.
Yes.
Next on the agenda, Advanced Technologies, number 2014, RMCF, RPMF, OPCO, MMIPM-21, review of a conditional use permits for retail marijuana cultivation facility, a retail product manufacturing facility, an operational premises cultivation facility, and a medical marijuana infused product manufacturing for the location of 1104 Constitution Drive, Trinidad, Colorado. Staff.
Thank you, Chairman. Don Wilhelm received approval of the retail marijuana cultivation facility, the retail product manufacture facility, the optional premise cultivation operation, and the medical marijuana infused product manufacture conditional use permits on October 14th of 2014 for the location of 1104 Constitution Drive. Mr. Wilhelm has remodeled the 21,040 square foot building, laying out the floor plan for numerous cultivation rooms and the product manufacture rooms, along with extensive remodeling of the office areas, including ADA compliant restrooms. The exterior of the building has also undergone some repairs and painting in order to encourage a sale of the building as a cultivation and extraction facility. Mr. Wilhelm has expended significant financial resources in this building in the industrial park and believes the conditional use permits approved for this location will be instrumental in any potential sale. City staff performed site inspections at the location and their findings are as follows. Site plans are consistent with plans submitted in the application, and the floor plans, once the remodel is completed, appear consistent with plans submitted in the application. Staff recommends renewal of conditional use permits number 2014 RMCF, RPMF, OPCO, MMIPM-21 for another year, with the next review in October 2020. And Chairman, Mr. Trommeter is here to represent Mr. Wilhelm tonight.
Okay, we're open the hearing. Is anyone here to represent this application? Come forward.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, my name is Ed Trommeter. I own Town and Country Estates Realty, and I have Mr. Wilhelm's property under contract to market. And we're trying to sell the building, have been for about the last 19 months. We feel that it would be very beneficial to us and to our community if we were able to see the CUP extended another year. The building has been a challenge to sell. I might correct one thing that George said. The building's 41,000 square feet. Wow. The office area is about 2,400 square feet. And Mr. Wilhelm just recently, in the last 3 months, in fact, has invested about $75,000 in remodeling the office. When he bought the building, it was in disarray, and the office area had leaks in the ceiling, and it was just in terrible shape. And we have tried to market it that way up until the last 3 months, where he's now went in and refinished all the walls and paint. He's got new flooring, both tiled and carpeted in the offices, new lighting, new ceilings, ADA compliant bathrooms, 2 of them. He had to put in a soak sink and a water heater, a backflow preventer, all these things according to code. So there was an investment made of about $75,000. He also improved the parking area. He regraded the parking area, he expanded the parking area, he painted the entire exterior of the building. All this in anticipation of hoping to attract a party who will come in and see that the office is ready for him to go to work, and then they can finish the back as they see fit. I had a few people come in and look at that building last year, and when they walked in the door, their jaws fell to the floor. They could not believe the investment the man has made in the building. He has framed out 47 grow rooms. He put a second story inside that building and did an addition to the building, and it was already about 25,000 feet. So the drywall's there, it started some electrical. He paid for complete engineering of the electrical system. San Isabel Electric said he would be the largest consumer of electricity in this county if that building goes into operation. And the problem that we ran into is that when people walk in and see the size of that building, and it's probably gonna take another $1 million to finish that building. It's just so large, it consumes them. They just weren't planning to see that kind of a partial finish in the building when they got here. And they're just too small of an operators to be able to do it. So we're trying to attract a larger operator. We're also trying to attract anybody who might be interested in the building. Quite frankly, if someone else is willing to come in and take the building, Mr. William was willing to take all the framing out of the building and sell it as a big open space again. But the point is that those CUPs would make it much easier for another operator to come in and operate, to get started in business there. And it's in a park that's already zoned to do that, and so if anybody's qualified, they're probably gonna get the application approved anyway, so why not extend it? That's what we're asking. It just makes good sense for us, it makes good sense for the community, it makes it easier for us to bring somebody else into the business. And that's basically what I wanted to say tonight, is that we've made an extended effort to try and get the building sold. And it's just been challenging because of the size. I don't think there's a building larger in Los Angeles County that's got 41,000 square feet on the roof. Unless maybe Pioneer might have a building up Highway 12, but that's a large.
And that's pretty close to what the building that Coda would be in, correct? Because they have a pretty substantial building.
And they're around 39,000, we're just a little bit over what Coda is.
Right.
Yeah. And they have a series of buildings. This is all under one roof.
Under one roof, correct.
Yeah. So we thank you and we ask for your consideration.
The questions I would have were the improvements that were made during the calendar year of this last CUP you mentioned, the remodeling.
Yes, sir.
Has that been done since last year?
Oh, yes, yeah, it's actually just completed in the last month.
Okay.
It's just completed in the last month. I brought some pictures. I mean, I can show you some pictures. I don't know that really makes a difference. You've all seen finished walls and flooring and a bathroom, and that's why I just made some pictures of that. I'm welcome to share them if the commissioners want to see them. Tony?
My concern is that the issue of this permit was October the 14th, 2014. And that's 5 years ago.
I don't know the details, Commissioner Marano, about what happened, but Mr. William came into the community and made a substantial investment. He bought the Opera House. He bought the old motel on Main Street, which was going to be a retail outlet. He owned the Eagles building. He bought the building at the industrial park. He owns the old Coca-Cola building. He's made a substantial investment in property here with the intent of going in and remodeling. He was going to do a hotel at the Opera House. He was going to do the Eagles, some retail locations on the lower floor and 2 large apartments on the upper floor. What happened is, Don's a contractor. He's not a marijuana guru. He had partners who were going to do the marijuana grow and that kind of stuff. And it went south. And after he experienced that, he just threw his hands up basically and he said, you know what, I'm a contractor, I'm a good contractor, I'm gonna go contract. I don't need to be in the marijuana business anymore. And so that's why you haven't seen anything, that business evolve into a large grow operation that he thought he was gonna have here someday. And that's the honest to God truth, that's just what had happened. So there's no argument that building hasn't developed like he thought. The problem is his relationship with his partners fell apart. He no longer had an interest in being in the business. So now what we're trying to do is take what he has invested in the building and the time he has invested in the building and try and get it sold. And that's all we're doing. We're just asking for an extension that will make it easier to sell the building. Bottom line, there's nothing else, no other reason for it.
Is that
And the
building-
thing is, because, the other thing is, Mr. Monterano, is that it's in the park, it's already zoned for that. And so if somebody else comes in who wants to use the building for marijuana, they gotta go through the administrative process of applying for all the CUPs again. And if they're already, and they're probably gonna be awarded, because if they qualify, I don't know that there's a reason why you could disqualify them, and maybe I'm wrong about that, but it would just make sense to leave it where it's at. It's not hurting anything, it would just help with the sale. And we might get a business up and going again quicker if that is that way. And that's our whole reasoning.
So this is all for cultivation, medical marijuana, and it says some manufacturing.
Retail manufacturing.
Right. Now, is that, all this doesn't have anything to do with the moratorium?
Correct, they're exempt.
So anybody could come back in and,
That also is correct, yes, sir.
in other words, if we denied his CUP,
Right.
somebody
Yes.
else could still come in and add a CUP to it.
That is correct. It's absolutely correct. Could I just add one thing, though, if I could, please, while Mr. Trummer is up here, and that is, when you continued it last year, I mean, I understand it, 4 years had gone by, and you granted the continuance. I would just say respectfully that when you grant a continuance like that, your hope and your intent is to have the CUP holder get in compliance and go out, not get in compliance, but establish the CUP. And in terms of making a lot of improvements, and we'll use that as our definition for establishing the CUP, I think that has been done. Now, one other thing, and the reason I wanted to add that when Mr. Trotter was up here is because I wanted to kind of elicit the point that in a phone conversation we had earlier today, he was indicating to me that the majority of the construction activity has actually occurred, I think, like in the last 60 days. Is that
the office remodel, the 2,100 square foot office remodel?
okay?
It's been it's happened in the last 60 days.
Everything else, has that been kind of an ongoing process for?
There was a large initial investment in remodel project initially, right after the CUP was granted initially.
Okay, so construction activities have been continuous and ongoing ever since the extension was
Yes.
granted?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's right.
okay, thank you.
Bill, anything else?
I don't have much more. It's just the idea, if it's still capable of housing a grow, if we denied the CUP, it's not gonna hurt. I mean, they could still come back and,
But, yes, they still could come back and do that, and I think the metric that we have to look at is, have they made, progress since in the last year, have they moved forward? And in the last 60 days, they put in $75,000. Now, is that enough do we need to establish a metric for, how much they need to spend to do that? But, that satisfied last year.
I think that the substantial improvement requirement has been more than met. Sounds like they put a lot into this. I personally have looked at this building divide. I looked at it last year. It's just a very nice location, very nice building.
The thing that I have concerns with is I would wish that y'all would have left the substantial investment part out of the report, because I'm not supposed to consider that, and seeing how it's there, seems like I can't not consider it now.
Sorry, I wasn't aware of that.
You know, I do appreciate all of the work that y'all done and everything, and you know, I don't know. I'm worried that continuing the CUP is going to raise the price up on the building so that we can't sell it to somebody that's coming in, because that building would make a great location for several other businesses other than just a marijuana retail place. And if we continue the CUP, is the asking price of the building going to be so high that we can't expect any other business to even look at it?
That's a good point, Commissioner Spain. That building is priced far under market for what you would go buy a building in Pueblo or Colorado Springs or Denver. I mean, it's a steal. And part of that, is, Don's not looking to make a big return on his investment. He's trying to get his money back out of that
I understand.
investment. So whether it's marijuana related, or if it's, you know, American Furniture Warehouse comes down here and puts in a furniture warehouse, which is plenty large enough to do.
Yes, it is.
The price isn't gonna change.
Okay.
He's leaving the community, he's ready to leave, and, he wants to get his building sold so that he can, you know, start over again somewhere.
I understand. It's a very nice location. You've got the railroad access just across the way. I mean, a great potential in that building.
It's the largest building out there.
Yes.
My problem is the same thing. We're not up here to determine any monetary benefits. That's not what we're up here for. I see it that it's not up here. One of the main things, if you look at all these operations here, first thing they say is fully operational. Has not been fully operational. And I think we've given him plenty of benefit, and I would see that somebody could come in there and put marijuana, or like you say, come in and put up a furniture store.
And I can't argue that, Commissioner Donnelly. I just think,
And
I'm a common sense kind of guy, and all I'm saying is that, and maybe I shouldn't have used the word monetary benefit, because I really didn't, it's not really a monetary benefit, I guess, so much to Don, because the price is the same anyway. What it is, it makes it easier for somebody to come in our community and do business. That's what it is, and that's the whole line.
basically what you're saying is if we keep all the CUPs, he's gonna get more money. That ain't up to us to determine that.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's not priced based on the price of marijuana. Not at all.
Anyway, that's all I
Well,
have.
it's well underpriced.
Anybody else?
I would be safe to say, I mean, one thing that we always want, is we wanna see some type of progress. Now, I understand where you know, what we're up here for and the things that we've always talked about. First thing for me is, if he wasn't, by him, and the money is not the option, I get that. But he is making an attempt to make the building better. He's spending money on that building. They're asking for the CUP because it could be I'll call it an enticement, because it's got that backing for that building. If he's putting money into it, it's no harm, no foul. I don't think it's gonna be a problem. It's not hurting anything to move this forward and grant the CUP an extension for another year. Me personally, I don't see a problem with that. He's investing into it, he's trying to make it something.
You know, we had income and revenue off of the investment of the construction. We had our building people and our construction crews going to work and doing work on this building. Our community definitely benefited from this year. I wouldn't see any harm in granting him another year. But honestly, with them saying that the moratorium doesn't apply,
Right.
I really don't see how a CUP is an enticement for me to buy your building if I can go get the same CUP. That's just my opinion.
So
But
wait
I
a
don't
second,
see
can I
any-
ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
I didn't mean to interrupt, I didn't. So, the process that they have to follow to come through and apply for that many CUPs.
Right.
I mean, what does that process take?
Well-
I mean, is it a lot of time? I mean, what does it take to?
Well, a lot of time is relative, and Ms. Clark knows that much better than I do. But, if I could please, I'd like to say that people who hold CUPs, it's kind of up to them, and I know you guys get this, I'm a master of stating the obvious, but it's up to them how they're going to sell the business. So with the CUPs, they can say, well, that's fine that you have the conditional use permits for a marijuana facility, but I want to move in an American family, or an American furniture warehouse. And so I'm going to buy the building. And, according to what we have heard, it's undervalued by any metric, by any business use. So I would just say that the relevant criteria is whether or not the CUP is established, or whether enough has been done within 1 year for you guys to continue it on. And either way, that's up to you, and that's a determination of fact for the commissioners. But really, considering whether or not the business is valued more or less, or, even economic benefit, that's kind of outside of the scope of tonight. And, with all due respect, and really kind of up to Mr. Wilhelm and his realtor in terms of how they sell it. But it's up to them, our decision tonight, or your decision tonight, is whether or not to renew on that basis, and then let them do whatever they are able to, since they are trying to sell the building. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else? Consider.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Staff input.
I had nothing further.
Anyone in the audience for or against this application? Anybody in the audience for or against this application? I'll close the hearing. Commissioners, discussion.
I really have a problem with the amount of time they've had to establish the CUP. 5 years. That's a long time to set up CUP. The people that came in here, that very first one, they got theirs going within the year. They've been in operation for 4 years. I don't know if we're setting a precedence of just dragging this thing along, and I don't think it's gonna hurt the building at all. I don't believe it'll hurt that building at all. It's gonna be for sale, and they could still put a CUP in it if they wanted to.
Okay. Well, no, I absolutely agree with you with the timeframe. I know that we have canceled the other CUPs, but in that situation, they had run into legal issues and other issues, and the investment and development of the property had stopped. That's not the case here. $75,000 is a lot of money to put into a business. Especially whenever you don't expect a return, because they're not putting this money in there to open it and make the doors work. They're putting this money in there to sell it and get somebody else to do it. So, that's a big risk to put in there.
And it's a large building.
Yeah,
Well, let him speak.
I'm really, I know exactly what you're saying, and I'm really torn on, but I see the difference in between the others that we've revoked and this one, which I honestly believe we need to continue and give them another year to try and get somebody in there to do good business. I think they're making a good faith effort. I couldn't put $75,000 into my building tomorrow. without an idea of having a business in it. That's just how I feel. I believe that we should give these, seems to me like they're doing everything that they can, I mean, except for opening the door.
Mr. Coker?
I agree with you, and I respect, with all due respect to all you guys. I mean, I know what we've talked about in the past. You know, we want to see an effort. We want to see the doors get open. We want to see work being done, right? It's one thing to, what these guys have to go through, and that's one thing that I've put a lot of thought into over the last month, is what, when it comes to this style of CUP, what, all the hard work and the legalities that goes into this, it can't be easy. And it's one thing to have a small shop, but to have this massive building, the largest building out there, I agree with you, Mr. Spain. I see money going into it. I think we need to let this go for another year.
Lois?
Yeah, I don't think we can go back in one CUP period and say, you've had this for 5 years, how come nothing happened? We can only look at what happened in the last year, which is, I mean, that's all we have, like, jurisdiction over. And so, in the last year, they've made a good faith effort to move forward, and, you know, I think that we could renew it with, you know, stating the condition that, you know, I mean, we will, if they're not open for business and there hasn't been another significant, you know, thing, then it will be revoked. I mean, those are the conditions, but I think they've met the conditions they need to renew it, in my mind.
My opinion is, we got 4 more to go through here tonight, and all these have been established. They're fully operational. I think the main 2 words is fully operational. And I don't think this, we gave him, he just said, Mr. Trommer said it's been 19 months that it's been for sale. I don't know how many people have actually come and taken a look at it. That ain't up to us to figure that out. But I know we're not here for any monetary benefits. That's not an all round. And I think we've given them plenty of time. And we've given the extension from last year, we made it another year. Now they're here before us again. But this is just my personal opinion. You guys, I respect all your opinions. Anyone else? You guys finished? Security. I need a
motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Coker?
Yes.
Leone?
No.
Moderano?
No.
Norris?
Yes.
Spain?
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on. Colorado Cannabis Associates, number 2015 RMS-03. Review of a conditional use permit for a retail marijuana store for a location at 453 North Commercial Street, Trinidad, Colorado. Staff.
Thank you, Chairman. Terry Sanchez received approval of the retail marijuana store conditional use permit on October 14th of 2014 for the location of 453 North Commercial Street. Subsequently, the conditional use permit was transferred to Colorado Cannabis Associates on February 10th of 2015. The business is fully operational as a retail marijuana store. The business has 8 employees and provides new employee training by the use of a training manual and management oversight. City staff performed site inspections at the location, and their findings are as follows. The floor plans are consistent with licensed premise plans. Security cameras are in place and operating, a total of 22 cameras. Security monitors and equipment are operating and secured within the office. Product is locked within display cases in the safe at night. Product refuse is destroyed for MED requirements, and a bar lock dumpster is located behind the building. The air filtration system is in place and operating, and a maintenance log is being maintained. No new signage has been installed since the last review. All conditions of the conditional use permit approval are met. Staff recommends renewal of conditional use permit number 2015 RMS 03 for another year, with the next review in October of 2020. Thank you, Chairman.
Open the hearing. Is anyone here present for this application? Please come forward and state your name.
My name is Jacob Gonzalez, District Manager of Colorado Cannabis.
Melinda Bauer, General Manager.
Is anything you want to bring forward to us at this time?
No, sir.
How long have you been operational?
We've been operational since 2015. We also do have other locations in Cycle, Colorado, which have been open since 2014, and then also this year have a new dispensary in the city limits.
Any other questions, guys? Mr. Monroe?
No,
Yeah.
they've been operating for how long?
2014.
Yeah.
The company's been in 2014.
Doris?
No.
Just like to say thank y'all very much for your hard work. We really appreciate it, and hope that y'all continue to do great business for us.
You can sit down then.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Staff report.
I have nothing further.
Anyone in the audience for or against this particular application? Anybody in the audience for or against this application? Close the hearing. Commissioner's discussion.
I didn't see nothing in, no bad tags, everything, all the reports came back good with all the inspection reports.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Perfect.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion Mary, second. Roll call.
Coker,
Yes.
Leone,
Yes.
Maturana,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Spain.
Yes, sir.
Moving on.
Hope everybody's all right.
Lugosi Farms Incorporated, number 2018 RMS-02. Review of a conditional use permit for a retail marijuana store for location of 118 Santa Fe Trail, Trinidad, Colorado. Staff.
Thank you, Chairman. Craig Hickson received approval of conditional use permit number 2014 RMS-23 for a retail marijuana store on October 14th, 2014, for the location of 118 Santa Fe Trail. On February 10th, 2015, this CUP again was brought before the Commission as 2015 RMS-02 in order to transfer ownership from the landlord to Variance Farms, Inc. The business is fully operational as a retail marijuana store and currently has 13 employees. New employees are provided a manual which provides training on all regulations and proper procedures. New employees are then shadowed by management for the first weeks during interactions with customers. City staff perform site inspections at the location, and their findings are as follows. Floor plans and use remain the same as last year's review. Security cameras are in place and operating. Security monitors and equipment are operating and secured within a restricted access room. Product is secured both within locked display cases and within a safe in a locked office at night. Refuse product is destroyed per MED regulations. The dumpster is locked and picked up weekly. The air filtration system is in place and operating, and a maintenance log is in use. Signage has been completed through the permitting process. All conditions of the CUP approval are met. Staff recommends renewal of the retail marijuana store number 2015-RMS-02 conditional use permit for another year, with the next review in October of 2020. That's all I have, Chairman.
Open the hearing. Is anyone present to represent this particular application? Please come forward and state your name.
Hi guys, my name is Craig Hickson.
Nice to meet you.
I only have really one comment on the agenda. It says 2018 RMS 02. I think it should be 2014. That's when I originally received the cup.
Right.
Yes, that's.
Just a
my
typo, I'm
mistake.
sure.
So that'll be the same thing for E. Oh, no, for
Same one
E
for
as
E.
well?
Yes.
Same one for E. I was gonna wait until then to make it official, but.
Yeah. Sorry. Still use Sunday.
Thank you for bringing that forward.
Sure. Just wanna make sure.
Yeah.
There could be an error in it,
Anything you want to present other than what you have in your packet here?
No, I think, speaks for itself.
And, I know your location on Main Street there is
Great location.
a great location and it's clean.
Thank you.
I go by there all the time.
Try to sweep the sidewalk every
I
week.
see you doing stuff. And that makes a difference. To me, it does. I'm speaking for myself. Can't speak for anybody else up here, but I think it's a clean operation.
Thank you.
I don't care when I went by there, whether it's at night, in the day, or whatever, it's a clean operation.
Great. Thank you.
That's what I have to say.
I agree. I think you're
I agree
right.
with you, and that whole corner right through there, it's like not only you guys, but it's a group as a whole, everybody takes really.
Yeah.
I think I said that the last time we had
I'll say that
everybody
twice.
here from the Wilderness Center,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think
Just
you
get
guys got.
Safeway to cover their stuff so their stuff isn't blowing up
Right.
on Main Street, we'd be
Right,
good.
you're right.
Although I think we're
Can't
doing
help
pretty
you
good.
when they're dig around.
Yeah, right.
I think we have one of the nicest downtowns that I've seen in a while, and y'all add to that as well.
Any other questions for this gentleman?
Nice to hear.
Sir, you can sit
Tie it
down.
off with
Okay.
it.
I'll take a short seat, 'cause I'm going right back
For
up.
5 minutes.
Staff input? Any
Nothing
staff input? Nope.
for this.
Anyone in the audience speak for or against this application? Close the hearing. Commissioner discussion. Mr. Majorano.
Hey, he's in operation, ain't he?
Yes, he is. Do I have a motion?
I'll move that we go ahead and approve it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made, second, roll call.
Coker?
Yes.
Leoni?
Yes.
Moderano?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Spain.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Pagosi Farms, 2014, RMCF, RPMF-02. Review of a conditional use permit for a retail marijuana cultivation facility and a retail product manufacturing facility for a location at 612 Highland Street, Trinidad, Colorado. Staff.
Thank you, Chairman. Craig Hickson received approval of conditional use permits number 2014 RMCF RPMF-23 for a retail marijuana cultivation facility and a retail product manufactured facility on October 14 of 2014 for the location of 612 Highland Street. On February 10th, 2015, these CUPs were again brought before the Commission as 2015 RMCF RPMF-02 in order to transfer ownership from the landlord to Paragosi Farms, Inc. The retail marijuana cultivation facility is in full operation at this time, the first harvest of organically grown marijuana within a few months. The business has 2 full-time cultivators who tend the plants. Paragosi Farm intends to sell all of its cultivation products locally within their retail store at 118 Santa Fe Trail. Paragosi Farms has made the business decision not to pursue completion of the retail product manufacture facility and focus solely on the cultivation at this location. City staff performed site inspections at the location and their findings are as follows. Site plans and floor plans are consistent with the modification of premises completed in December of 2017. Security cameras and locks are installed and operating. Air filtration systems are installed and operating, and a maintenance log is being used. Refuse plant waste is recorded per MED regulations and composted within the soil in the cultivation building. Non-product waste is transferred to the store location dumpster. All conditions of the conditional use permit are completed and maintained. Staff recommends renewal of conditional use permit number 2015 RMCF-02 for another year, with the next review in September of 2020. Staff further recommends expiration of conditional use permit number 2015 RPMF-02 at this time. And that's all I had, Chairman.
Open the hearing. Want to come forward again?
Sure. We're finally business.
Is there anything else that you want to say about this particular?
No,
Your
start
turn.
paying taxes in December, so there you go. She did say that we're removing our application for the MIP.
Right.
So, we may come back and redo that, but right now I don't have any plans, so I wanna get that off your guys' table.
You have a harvest coming up here?
Yes, so we planted seed, August 2nd, and we should be able to, we've let it go a little long, before flowering, so we're starting to flower this week, and so in 2 months from this week, we should start harvesting. So December should be a sale date.
Is this your first?
Be the first, yes.
How is it?
It's great. 318 plants. She walked in and said, so it's really nice. It's really clean. We're doing things that no one's ever done before. So we're making our own fertilizers. We're fermenting our own fruit juice. We're fermenting everything in my house, and no purchased pesticides or fertilizers. They're all made out of food. So it's gonna be a really, really clean product.
It's good to see that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Wow. Congratulations on all your hard work. That must feel amazing, huh?
Been a sweat.
I bet it has. It's like a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions for you?
My question would be, I mean, you've got this harvest coming in, it seems like it, so I'm gonna infer that since that it's just harder to get a grow going, takes more time than like just a straight up retail?
Believe it or not, I had some contractor problems.
Okay.
Never heard of that.
Yeah.
You know, the first contractor problem was myself.
Oh.
Trying to do it myself was a mistake. And then hiring from someone from Denver was my second mistake. So those are 2 things I'll never do again.
Anybody else?
And the third one has a brother-in-law that you haven't made yet, so.
Too little.
You can have mine.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
You can sit down, okay. Staff input.
I have nothing further.
Anyone for or against this application? Please come forward. If not, close the hearing. Commissioner discussion. Gentlemen. Mr. Marano.
I think it's great. I think what he's doing is something new.
Yes, sir.
I'm impressed.
Mr. Norris?
Yeah, I'm impressed as well.
Mr.
I think
Coker?
it's great to see it. Right.
I think it's time to put that motion in there.
I was impressed when he said how he's doing his own fertilizer.
Yeah.
That impressed the heck out of me. And of all the stuff we get up here, you always learn something.
Right.
In this meeting, I learned that. Anyway, okay, roll call. I need a motion.
Yeah.
A motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion approved, second, roll call.
Coker?
Yes.
Leone?
Yes.
Materano?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Spain?
Yes, sir.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Have a great night. Good luck.
Thank you.
Chairman, I'm sorry, were you gonna expire the one?
Oh,
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then-
Yes, that's right, you had to make the
Yeah.
ones that made the motion. You have to
That
redo your motion.
motion-
No, we
that motion
need
was
a second
renewal.
motion.
You have to amend it.
We have to.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now you gotta school me. So we gotta amend this is gonna be new for me, so help me out here. What do I need to do? I'm gonna amend the motion.
The motion was to renew
Renew the 2014 RMCF,
02 for another year.
and then we're going to, expire RPMF 02.
And I'll second that.
Is that correct?
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Roll call.
Coker?
Yes.
Leone?
Yes.
Materano?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes,
Spain?
sorry.
Yes, sir.
Have a good evening.
Okay.
Be safe.
And
Oh, the stress.
Moving down the line.
Chairman?
We've gotta read this.
Oh, initial.
Oh, I'm sorry, withdraw.
So, there's a moratorium on. Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, a resolution recognizing the expiration of the conditional use permit number 2015 RPMF-02, approved by the City of Trinidad Planning and Zoning and Variance Commission on October 14th, 2014, for the operation of a retail product manufacturing facility located at 612 Highland Street, Trinidad, Colorado 81082. Whereas the State of Colorado, through Citizens Initiative, in the general election legalized the sale of marijuana. And whereas the Trinidad City Council, pursuant to the Colorado Revised Statute CRS 12-43-4-101, has established Chapter 14, Article 12 of the City of Trinidad Code of Ordinance to regulate the marijuana trade in the City of Trinidad. And whereas the City of Trinidad required that any marijuana operation secure a conditional use permit prior to receiving a local license, and whereas the Planning and Zoning and Variance Commission, prior to issuing a conditional use permit, considered the safety of the operation, mitigation of any negative influences to the neighborhood. And whereas the City of Trinidad Code of Ordinance required that the Planning and Zoning and Variance Commission review any approved conditions or permits not less than 1 year in insurance of the conditions associated with the conditional use permit continue to be met in the operation of the business. Whereas each annual review of the conditional use permit must be done in a public hearing, which has been noticed in the newspaper of general circulation at least 10 days prior to the hearing, and written notice of the hearing must be sent to the permittee at least 30 days in advance of the public hearing. Whereas at the end of the public hearing, or within not more than 30 days, the Planning and Zoning and Variance Commission shall render a decision to approve or revoke the conditional use permit either orally or in written. And whereas any conditional use permit not established within 1 year of its approval shall expire. Now therefore be it resolved by the Planning and Zoning and Variance Commission of the City of Trinidad that the conditional use permit number 2015-RPMF-02 issued in October of 2014 to Craig Haxton for the establishment of a retail product manufacturing facility has been expired. Introduced and read and adopted the 8th day of October 2019.
You can sign it, Chairman.
Okay, moving on.
Chairman, I'm sorry, Chairman, do you have the first page to that as well?
Okay. JW Colorado LLC number 2015 RMS, RMCF, RPMF, MMC, OPCO, MMIPM-17. Review of conditional use permits for a retail marijuana store, a retail marijuana cultivation facility, a retail product manufacturing facility, a medical marijuana center on optional premises cultivation facility, and a medical marijuana infused product manufacturing for a location of 3601 Freedom Road, Trinidad, Colorado. Staff.
Thank you, Chairman. William Prince received approval of the 6 conditional use permits located at 3601 Freedom Road on October 13th of 2015. These 6 conditional use permits were transferred to JW Colorado LLC on August 13 of 2019. The business is fully operational in regard to the retail marijuana cultivation facility, the optional premise cultivation operation, the retail product manufacture facility, and the medical marijuana infused product manufacturer, and the medical marijuana center. The operators have made the business decision to no longer maintain the retail marijuana store at this location. Currently, Tweedleaf has 21 employees. New employees receive certified vendor training through a state program, and then are trained by management, followed by management oversight for the first month. City staff performed site inspections of the location, and their findings are as follows. Floor plans are mostly consistent with the plans submitted in the application, with the revision to discontinue the retail marijuana store. Security cameras are in place and operating. Security monitors and equipment are operating and secured within restricted access room. Separation of product is maintained through the MED tag system. Product is secured in a locked room. Refuse product is destroyed for MED regulations. Dumpster is locked and picked up weekly. A carbon filter air filtration system is in place in the vegetation room, and the operator has submitted information on the air filtration system for the 2 greenhouses. The corridor between the greenhouses is designed so that the ceiling opens to bring fresh air through intake louvers into the greenhouse, which is then exhausted by fans located on the far exterior walls. Staff recommends renewal of conditional use permit number 2015 MMC RMCF OPCO RPMF and MMIPM-17 for another year, with the next review in October of 2020. Staff further recommends expiration of conditional use permit 2015 RMS-17 at this time. That's all I had, Sean.
Georgie, there's a typo on
In the staff report.
that. It's either in the staff report or on the computer. I have 2105 RMS 17 on the
Yes,
expiration.
it was a
Yeah.
typo. It should have been 2015 RMS-17.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Okay. Open the hearing. Anyone present here, come forward.
Sure. Chairman, Commissioners, I'm Tony Collins, Vice President of Operations with JW Colorado. I have a few just some documents here pertaining to odor mitigation and filtration for the greenhouses. Get one more. And this is just stating our continuation of this for those greenhouses. And the second page is just from our contractor stating that they'll be back within the next 6 days from their job they're currently on to install those last 4 rings for the odor mitigation. So.
Is that the system that inject, is kind of like your misting system, so to speak?
Correct, yes, sir.
I've seen that on the fan.
Yes. So initially we had the 12 rings installed with our main exhaust fans, and then we installed 4 more top louvers at the top of the greenhouses to help with the heat. And so that's to get the full odor mitigation. We have to install those 4 and get those fully operational. So yeah, that's the last thing.
Anybody else?
An odor mitigation system.
It is, yes. We take our relationship with you guys in the city very seriously, and we want to make sure we do it right the first time and, get a proper system installed. So,
Excellent.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I went to our lawyer tonight and asked him if I could ask this question. He said I definitely could.
Okay, yes, sir.
And when you set your scales and they come in and certify, okay? I'm in a business where I have to have 7 or 8 scales certified by the state of Colorado, just like you.
Yes, sir.
I looked at your application that they give you, and what they give me, it ain't signed. Why is that? It ain't signed by the person who done it. My application tells me the number, just like yours does, and it tells me what the scale size is, and if it was off any, just like what you got here.
Yes, sir.
And then it says inspector, and on the top it's printed in type, and on the bottom it's signed. Why ain't yours signed? I don't understand that.
So.
I'm the same as you, state of Colorado.
Yes, sir. My understanding with the state of Colorado, so I called the Department of Ag.
I'm not asking this for any against you.
No, absolutely, yeah.
I
So
just want you to understand that.
when I called the Department of Ag and got our scales, you know, certified with them, told them how many we had in the building, the amounts and weights that they do, I asked them, you know, when in the next week they'll be out to certify and sign it, and they said that they just come out within the next year and do an inspection in the facility. So our company though, we do a third-party inspection, so we can ensure that we're putting out the correct product, and we just had that recently done, so. But that's my understanding, I don't know if that's officially it or not, but yes.
It's nothing against your application.
Okay, yes.
I just said we do that too.
Yeah.
And, we have to have it two places, because when we have a job, a particular job, we have to send in that particular scale application that was certified by the state of Colorado.
Yes, sir.
And it has to be signed by the person that came down and did them particular scales.
Yes, and when I was on the phone with the Department of Ag, with the state, they said they have 12 months to come to the facility and perform that, so that would be my only explanation, yeah.
That's just for my.
Yes, sir.
Next one will be something.
Do you have each one of these facilities operating?
Because see,
Yes, sir, so the retail storefront, we are gonna be expiring. The medical storefront, we're revamping, so, but it is fully operational, yes, sir.
And product manufacturer, are you manufacturing on the site as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
any other questions? Mr. Coker?
How long have you been in operation?
Yeah, so with the facility itself, 4 years. JW Colorado and our company have been operating facilities for 5 years. We've been here in Trinidad for a year. Yes, sir, helping out and taking this facility over, so, yes, sir.
And y'all have made the decision to no longer have the retail sales at y'all's location?
So we have another retail license located at 123 Cedar Street. And when we purchased this company and took over, we had already made the decision to open that retail storefront at 123 Cedar. And so instead of having 2 retail stores and, you know, going back and forth, we decided that that was a prime location downtown at Cedar Street. So we decided to just close that Freedom Road.
Transportation from your growth to the retail location, is that gonna be an issue? Or?
No, sir. We have a transportation van with security measures and lockable van. We've been operating in Colorado Springs. We have upcoming operations in Denver, and we agree in 100% compliance. Like I said, we want to be your guys' best friend in that, in compliance and regulations, and ensuring that every step we take is checked and double checked. So, yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions, gentlemen? Mr. Coker?
You've got everything where on some of the inspection reports, you had your cameras with those were all taken care of. I mean, everything on the reports are all taken care of?
Correct, yes, sir. And I spoke with Audra to ensure that on the modification of premises, that what you have on file is what the state has on file, and we double and triple checked that last week, and it is correct. So, yes, sir.
Anybody else? Norris?
What products do you manufacture? I'm just curious.
So we manufacture them all. We do wax, shatter, the concentrate, so live resin, like butter, rosin. We do topicals, gummies. We're going into just any type of ancillary product that you can make from cannabis, yes. We're doing research right now on more of the medical side and helping with actual research in that instead of, you know, the medical edibles right now you can buy and it has 40 grams of sugar in it. So, you know, is it really medicinal or is it just a cannabis product that's sold as medicinal? So our company is really looking to do research and manufacture products that help with these medicinal ailments and different things with the opioid epidemic and different things like that, and helping pull people off that holistically is our main mission. So But yeah, we're still making gummies and all the recreational products as well, so.
That 40 grams of sugar, that's kinda high.
Yeah.
It is. I when we first got into the industry, it was medical only for a long time, and a lot of companies were making those products, and I always say, if they cure the first element, they're bound to get diabetes.
Sugar
Because
diabetes.
You're gonna have so much sugar flowing through your
That's what I
body
was
that it
thinking.
is. And it really is crazy to see these companies that do that. So with our gummies, we're all natural with the puree, looking to limit sugar and those
good.
types of things. So
That's good.
yes, absolutely.
Any other questions for this guy?
Just on a personal note, the VA has me on quite a bit of medication, and moving here, thanks to gummies and that kind of stuff, I was able to get off of the Oxycontin
Yes.
and all that stuff. So continue on. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. We actually paired with a group of veterans here in Colorado named Battle Buds, and helped them make and get their business started in our facility, making their RSO and teaching them the ropes and getting that produced and start that. So we're a firm believer in giving back and helping the community, whether you're veterans, and thank you for your service. So yes, sir. So yeah.
Any other thing, gentlemen?
Amazing.
Yes, you can sit down, sir.
Thank you so much.
Staff input? Georgie?
The only thing, Chairman, is with the motion.
Right.
To include the expiration.
Anyone? There ain't nobody here, but I'll say it anyway. Anyone for or against this procurement application, come forward. Not, I'll close the hearing. Hey, commissioners, you heard that little presentation there, and whatever you make, you gotta make sure that you, in your motion, that you remove number 2015-RMS, whoever makes the motion.
I'll take a stab at it. Let's see. I'd like to make a motion to renew RMF 2012, RMCF, PF, that all of them, and at the same time expire the retail marijuana sales.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, roll call.
Coker?
Yes.
Leone?
Yes.
Monterano?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Spain?
Yes, sir.
Someone
Thank
else
you very
or me?
much.
There you go.
Thank you.
And
Your
thank you
turn.
for expiring.
City of Trinidad Planning and Zoning and Variance Commission Resolution number 30. The resolution recognizes the expiration of conditional use permit 2015 RMS 17. The approval of the City of Trinidad, approved by the City of Trinidad Planning and Zoning and Variance Commission on October 13, 2015 for operation of a retail marijuana store located at 3601 Freedom Road, Trinidad, Colorado 81082. Whereas the state of Colorado, through citizen initiative in the general election, legalized and sell marijuana, and whereas the Trinidad City Council, pursuant to the Colorado Revised Statute CRS 12-43.4-101, has established Chapter 14, Article 12 of the City of Trinidad Code of Ordinances to regulate the marijuana trade in the City of Trinidad, and whereas the City of Trinidad requires any marijuana operation secure a conditional use permit prior to receiving a local license, and whereas the Planning and Zoning and Variance Commission, prior to issuing a conditional use permit, considers the safety in the operation and mitigation of any negative influences to the neighborhood, and whereas the City of Trinidad Code of Ordinances requires that the Planning, Zoning and Variance Commission review any conditional use permits not less than once per year to ensure the conditions associated with the conditional use permit continue to be met in the operation of the business. And whereas each annual review of conditional use permit must be done in a public hearing, which has been noticed in the newspaper, general circulation at least 10 days prior to the hearing, and written notice of the hearing must be sent to the permittee at least 30 days prior to the public hearing, and Whereas at the end of the public hearing, or within not more than 30 days, the Planning and Zoning Affairs Commission shall render its decision to reapprove or revoke the conditional use permit, either orally or in writing, and whereas any conditional use permit not established within 1 year of its approval shall expire. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Planning, Zoning, and Variance Commission of the City of Trinidad that the conditional use permit number 2015 RMS-17 issued on October 13, 2015 to William Prince for the establishment of a retail marijuana store has been deemed expired. Introduced, read, and adopted this 8th day of October 2019. I think you have to sign it. I can't sign for you.
Well, I didn't want you to. Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Have a great night.
Bye.
See ya.
Keep up all the great work.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, moving on. Training.
Training.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't really get training together tonight.
That's fine.
So if there's
I got a
any
good scenario.
reports.
You're being vetted.
No.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Okay.
Chairman, I didn't know if you wanted to do a report or the commissioner's report first before mine, or do you want me to go ahead?
We can do whatever you want to do.
Okay, did anybody have a report tonight they want to talk about? Okay.
I would like training. I'd like to go to whatever training I can go to. I'd like to go find out what I need to find out.
Okay, you know, Mr. Gutierrez facilitates what's called the Boards and Commissions group, and it's set up so the chairman of every commission or board comes to a meeting. There's a certain amount, I think it's $37,500 per quarter is put into a fund. And the chairman of each board or commission can come to that group and say, you know, we'd like some money to do this. So if you'd like, Mr. Gutierrez and I will look into maybe some kind of training session that we would either go to, or maybe we could hold a little. Mr. Gutierrez thought of this the other day, maybe like a little retreat. I don't know your schedules, if everybody might be available, like on a Saturday or something, if we were to schedule. Going somewhere, a new scenery, and try and get someone to come down and do some more training.
Would
We
that,
can look into
I don't think, have you ever been when Carrie McCool's here?
I have met Mrs. McCool.
Ever been in one of her sessions?
She came for just a little while whenever Audrey was still here. Whenever
That's
we
been a
first, whenever we first started this, or whenever I first started it, she was here.
Is that what you would
Miss
prefer to
McCool was
get
awesome.
carried down to explain?
I think she's pretty, Mr. Gutierrez, she's pretty,
Yeah, definitely.
pretty knowledgeable.
Yeah.
We have a meeting this week, we could set up some funds and bring her down and maybe do like a little, you know, get together and a couple hours worth of
Yeah, but
training, or-
is Saturday gonna be good for everybody here?
Yeah, I think that if we could kind of focus towards that how do you say it?
Quasi-judicial.
That's the one that kind of
The
got me.
quasi-judicial?
Yes,
Okay.
because I think tonight here, we each had a different, and I realize that's why we're up here. Each one of us has a different, but in my opinion, I mean, we just keep on doing what we've been doing right along. We ain't doing nothing different.
Well, there's a few things that I want to talk to you about, but we definitely could figure out some training. We could even maybe get Carrie to come down during one of our meetings, and walk us through it, if that's what you'd like, or, you know, we'll investigate some options. There's also some organizations like National Commissioner trainings that we'll look into and see if we can.
Is there any type of manuals, pamphlets that address that?
The quasi-judicial? Well, there's probably a lot of things written about it. Quasi-judicial is basically that you are acting as a judge. In planning and zoning, you've got a really tough job because you're trying to balance personal property rights and community property rights.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at what we say with this mouth. And like for instance, what happened to Dave, for instance, you know, that was a quasi-judicial type situation.
You're talking about David Babbitt? Okay, it's a little bit different. So quasi-judicial, you're asked to act as a judge. And in that same manner, you don't have discussions with one, you know, you have to look at the information as it's brought to you, as it's presented to you in the court, if you will, and not be influenced by one party over the other. So that's the quasi-judicial nature, is you're trying to balance those two rights. The rights of an individual to develop their property, which is a very sacred right in this country, to develop their property, the highest and best use. But then there's also the community rights. You know, so you're trying to balance that, look at everything fairly and not be unduly influenced. That's the quasi-judicial aspect of it. And with Mr. Fabic, you know, we went through quite a city council meeting just a while back. For me, it was a long 40-minute grueling testimony with attorneys, but a few things happened in that meeting, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. If you recall the Canico CUP review, they wanted to keep their product manufacturer, but they need to build a new building before they're going to do that. And City Council reviewed that, and they overturned the Planning and Zoning Commission decision. So they still
Actually,
have
we didn't
theirs.
make a decision.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, that one, it was continued.
It was continued for the next meeting.
And then council took it away. But, so they do have all their conditional use permits. They also, in that night, we had the appeal for the 419 North Commercial. And that was Trinidad Holdings, and that was a retail marijuana store that was revoked. If you recall, a couple meetings back, Mr. Sean Sheridan appealed that to City Council. And
One on Commercial Street.
Yes. In the mini mall, as they call it.
One with the plumbing problems.
Yes. City
all right.
Council.
And what did City Council do?
Okay.
City Council reviewed that, and they upheld the Planning and Zoning Commission.
That's.
Did they give a reasoning for the first one, for basically for renewing Canico?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, because it was licensed. All this time, it was a license. The medical, or the product manufacturer was licensed, as well as all of their conditional use permits. And City Council's licensing is in the realm of City Council. And we're learning as we go here. The conditional use permits, if we were to expire one, that automatically revokes the license. And that's City Council's domain. So what they're telling us is that if it's a licensed, we absolutely cannot expire or revoke those conditional use permits, because that automatically triggers their license being revoked. And that's an only license, or only City Council can review and determine whether a license is granted or not.
Okay, so is getting a license condition, is that conditional on, I mean, don't all these guys have licenses?
It hasn't passed here.
You can have a CUP and not have your license. You can get a conditional use permit. That's what we, I mean, just tonight, I mean, just what we had tonight.
Just what we had tonight.
All he had was a CUP. He
Right,
doesn't
the
have
building
all the
number.
license behind that. Am I correct?
Because he wasn't finished.
Canico, what you're saying is they actually had a license for what they were, for what they were going for review for. Even though the building ain't ready yet, he had a license.
They have both the state licensing and the local licensing. They've carried them all the way through.
Okay.
And so that's, a decision, you know, that city council is responsible for licensing. So.
So you could kind of get around our, I mean, we're using that they have to be, you know, putting money into, they have to be either be open or have improvements. And here with the license thing, you could be doing no improvements, be sitting on a freaking license.
No, no.
Why not? Oh,
You get the CUP first,
I got that.
and then you turn around and get your license on top of it, and once you get your license, it's yours.
So,
There's a significant investment in getting a
Yeah, it's like
license,
They
and they
can-
say that establishes the conditional use permit, is what city council's determination.
So if you get a CUP to be a pot shop, then you get a license to be a pot shop,
you can't touch it.
we can't touch it,
So,
even if you're not open.
so-
It would be up to city council.
City council determines that.
Okay.
Because
No, it does.
Okay, gotcha, okay.
Because
Thanks, sorry.
licensing is
Took
totally
3
in their
times, but-
realm.
Well, I think
These are two different things
I
right
got
there.
it, thank you.
You're trying to, I know what you're trying to do, I don't want you to get the wrong
No.
way of what way it works.
Right, okay.
It's just that we can't.
Right, okay. So, but I don't care if he has a license or not, I mean, I'm worried about the CP.
I think,
Well, I'm licensed because it's gonna get revoked.
that's what
I move that we adjourn.
I've got a few things more, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Okay,
No,
okay, it's all
please.
right, okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so a few other things that happened in that city council meeting is Wayne Pritchard was, city council voted to reseat him on the commission. He's on a road trip right now, that's why he's not here tonight, but he is, seated on the commission.
Glad Wayne made it back in, he's a good guy.
And David Fabic, the city council voted not to reseat him on the commission. I know that the issue, and somebody brought it up earlier, I'm sorry, I don't remember who, I guess it was with the quasi-judicial. It wasn't that it was it's a situation where David Fabic was on the commission as our chairman. He was, at that point in time, waiting, he was vetted by the commission that night. And he was waiting for city council to reseat him. And he chose to involve himself in another application, which he couldn't be stopped from speaking because he was a citizen at that time. But he came up and he lobbied the commission that we have done this and we need to continue, and that's what made city council, that's what caused an issue there. I think there were other things that I don't know the details of, but city council did vote not to seat David Fabic again. So there's gonna be a few changes too. One thing I wanna do is next meeting, we're gonna hold an election. So I'd encourage any of you to put your name in for chairman, vice chairman, and we'll have you vote. And so we'll have a chairman that will finish out the term of David Fabic and then have a full term themselves. And so we'll do that
Wasn't
next week.
David Fabic at the end of his term?
He was at the end of his term.
Yes.
He's getting renewed.
So
Yes.
there's, you don't have to serve
Wait a
out his
second.
term.
You're
Here's-
correct, you're correct.
Right.
wasn't, when he came up for that was to be on the commission, not to be the chairman. He was,
Right, that
so, because there was another time when we all sat up here and voted him as the chairman.
Yeah,
That wasn't the same thing. I mean, we are talking about two separate things here.
Right.
Okay.
so what we'll do is hold an election next meeting. So think about it, you know, you're all very talented and, we totally appreciate all the effort you put into.
I'm just, you know, that whole deal kind of bothered me because I was thinking whenever you get down in the audience, you're a citizen. I realize, but he was off the board. He's being considered to be put back on.
Mhm.
You know?
But he was using the terms of "we have," and so he was including himself.
So in other words, the
commission.
word "we" should have been "you."
I think
No, not I,
that-
you. In other words, he would have been presenting himself to us, you
You,
people.
yeah, you
That's
have-
what I'm saying. So, just by a word or so is what,
A pronoun messed up.
yes.
Well, I really think that once decisions are made, or the commission has to speak as a group, not as individuals. So if we vote one way, if you vote one way and a decision is made on something, it's best if you're questioned in the community, wherever, just to say the commission decided. You know, and just take your own personal belief out of it and have to stand as one, basically. And I think Wayne did the appropriate thing. He came, you vetted him, and he removed himself from any of the proceedings. Because if anything had been continued, when David was here also, if he had been reseated, he would have had to recuse himself anyway from any of that, because it was a continued hearing and he wasn't part of the commission at the time. So it's best just to, if you're on the commission, it's just best to, you know, take that as your number one role.
Trees
Not
my
as
God
the
wise.
public citizen, just speaking your own mind, you know. Each of you during, discussion have the right to put your thoughts on each application forward at that time. But other than that, it's best just to stay back from it.
Didn't we have, like, in one of our training, you know, wasn't there like similar situations that were in our training that spoke about, you know, how we can and can't come and speak? I mean, I thought that was, some of that stuff was kinda in some of that training that we did.
But that's, when we were talking about that, that's as a commission, okay? This guy wasn't no more longer a commissioner.
But he was speaking as if he was part of the group.
I know, but he wasn't.
But he also wasn't just an ordinary citizen. He had been serving on the commission, so it put it under a different level.
Was gonna serve again if he was reapproved.
Yeah.
So,
So we will have elections next, meeting, and I encourage all of you to think about serving in that capacity. I can put my glasses on to read my notes.
You know, I was thinking about it a little bit, and honestly, the difference in between speaking there and speaking up here, I believe speaking up here after the hearing is over with is more powerful than speaking at the podium whenever we're going through. I mean, that's just my opinion. I believe that my voice up here, whenever we get the chance to say our talk, that we got more weight.
we
You
do,
know?
Yes.
we do.
So why would I give my weight away so that I can?
Because
go there?
he figured he wasn't on the commission anymore.
Yeah, he
being
was.
considered for it.
Right?
Well, see, he had past knowledge of this whole operation, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, he was gonna be back on the commission starting again this
You have
month.
to say, yeah.
Right.
Well, they was
Still had to go through
going
city
to
council,
until
yes,
that.
yes.
Well, so like when he asked if he could come before the commission, I think that he should have been stopped. And
Yeah,
said,
it's just-
Commissioner Fallback, it would be a good
Strongly
idea for you to
upset.
not do that. I mean, I can't stop you as an individual, but
Strongly advised.
you know, I mean, right, but I mean, I think that the other issue there.
It was, I just wanna say, it was an awkward position, I think, for everybody. It happened so fast that I think it was hard for you to really, or anybody to
See what.
stop him. I mean, it was
Well,
just.
he has to come forward.
Yeah, it had just happened so fast.
You didn't know what he was gonna say.
No,
Right.
so
Yeah,
it just,
we
it was
couldn't- we
just
couldn't
an odd
determine what it is.
situation, I think, overall.
Well, yeah, but, yeah, okay, no, definitely a
It
learning.
was-
Okay,
Yes.
lesson learned, don't talk on your
Talk
vetting
up here.
day, you know what I mean?
Well, you know, in general, I think, you know, that the time to discuss things is after the public hearing, when the chairman calls for discussion, and then, once it's done,
Either
just
that
leave
or
it. And if
you
people
better
are
see the
questioning-
lawyer, Mr. Downs, before you come to the meeting.
That's right.
I went and seen him for this
Yeah.
particular thing. I'm on the license tonight. I didn't wanna be anybody thinking here I wanted to revoke anything. It was for my personal, and he said, you can ask that question.
This is a pretty knowledgeable, straightforward guy. I like this a lot.
Yeah. And,
So there's just a,
I also asked him at that particular time about Mr. Fabic. I went and met with him for about 45 minutes, and he explained to me almost exactly what Georgie has told us tonight.
and he's available to any of you at any time, you know, if I can't answer a question about an application, you want legal, discussion, he's available to you, so we'll arrange for that.
Okay, Georgie, go
So
ahead.
after, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, after all of this that went to city council, they have asked me to put all the conditional use permit reviews on hold until they make some decisions. They feel it should be an administrative process, and so we won't be doing any, I'm just putting them on hold for right now. We've gone through every one of them at least once, and some of them twice, a couple of them 3 times we've been through. So until they make some final decisions, those are just gonna be put on hold.
So,
Just made our job.
so what are we up here for then?
Well,
What are we here for?
The most important function of the Planning and Zoning Commission is to really look in detail at the applications. Because City Council doesn't look in that detail. So any application that comes before us, Planning and Zoning is looking at every little detail and setting conditions on those applications. Making a recommendation to City Council if it's a rezoning, annexation, subdivision of that type. So that's really the primary goal of the Planning and Zoning Commission, is to really look at every request that comes before you for individuals who wanna develop their property, which is their right, and to look at all the details. And that's the primary function of planning and zoning. You know, the code, writing the code, we've worked through that a great deal, and hopefully City Council is going to finalize that soon. The comprehensive plan we put together, but there's a lot of aspects of the Planning Commission that we haven't seen yet, but I foresee it really growing our applications. We've got this new state park. In my office, I get calls and people coming in every day, right away. They're coming from Denver, you know, oh, I wanna buy up these houses and I wanna do Airbnbs. I wanna do the, you know, there's all kinds of things coming forward, and I think we're gonna have people wanting to do RV parks. There's all kinds of growth is going to happen coming up with this ranch. And so that's your number one goal. And really, you can see our first year of reviewing the conditional use permits, we did find irregularities, things. The commission pointed those out to the people corrected them. So we've gone through those, and everybody's pretty much falling in line. And so I think we did a really good job in that. You know, it did bring up all the problems, and we addressed them. But I think the actual planning and studying the requests, and then making a recommendation to City Council, because they do review it, but they don't look at it like the Planning Commission does, each application. So I think that's what we'll mostly be focused on, and until City Council gives us some final decisions. I do have a couple applications coming forward. I don't know how soon they'll be finalized, but there's some big applications ahead of us. So, and then there's other things, you know, just working with these other commissions too, how we want to see the development of the community grow. So we can do a lot of things. We can do more training, and I think that there is something I wanted to say from tonight. The retail marijuana stores, it's, you know, you do have to get the conditional use permit, then you have to get your state license, and then you have to get your city license. And you may have to go in and remodel a little bit, maybe put an ADA bathroom in, a counter, and you're up and running. But to develop a cultivation facility takes a lot more than a retail marijuana store. And the way our code was written, I think it's very, very difficult for a cultivation operation to be done in 1 year. Mr. Hickson that was here tonight, Farragosi Farms with the cultivation on Hayman Street, that was probably four years. There's been a number of them that have taken quite some time.
I mean, just to look at the filtration system, it's a $45,000
Yeah.
system.
Mhm. And the
My
stores can go
goodness.
to, the stores don't need that
I
carbon air
think that's
filtration
unnecessary.
system.
Right.
I mean, and if their neighbors aren't complaining about an odor, then why are they spending $45,000 to take care of an odor?
Because they probably had something before.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know, but wow.
I think that, you know,
That's a
we,
specialty.
That's something that you're trying to get out of it. I'll give you an instance. We do the same thing, we don't do an odor, we do dust.
Yeah,
We spent $65,000 on
On
dust
that
mitigation
dust layer,
about 2 years ago. Did we have to do a 65,000? No, but we did a 65,000.
And there's only certain
Because you're a
ones
good neighbor.
in that style.
Oh, we just
in
did.
that style.
So when they come and inspect you, you ain't
There's only
under
a-
violation.
There's only a couple of styles of or odor mitigation that you can use on that style of building.
Well, I was
yes,
just saying.
it's a greenhouse where other cultivations are just all done under lights. The greenhouse made a difficult situation in the construction of that building for them to try and design a
I've seen
system.
that.
But cultivation facilities do, have a lot more to try and accomplish in a year. So I think we did really good reviewing all of them. I think we got all of them up to compliance. They've got their systems going, you know, and they're doing their filtration logs and they're being inspected, and they will continue to be inspected by police, fire, building, and planning department if the city council does change it to an
So
administrative.
who's gonna take your place and go out and look at it?
No, I will be going out and looking at it.
Oh, you will?
Yeah, because in the planning department, I will be, the building department, the police department, the fire department will all be inspecting them on a regular basis. When their license
Comes up?
comes up for renewal, then I will go out and inspect. And before Audra renews their licenses, they have to be in compliance. I would provide a report to her, is the way they're seeing it.
It's gonna be just like a liquor license.
Yeah, and that is, you know, council's domain. So they will be handling that, and they will be being reviewed. And
So they have to rewrite a bunch of code, don't they?
I think there'll be changes,
Yeah.
coming up, and I don't have all the final answers yet, so I
Right, okay.
can't tell you word for word how
Right.
it'll be. But those are the things coming up, and then I think I went through everything, so. I just want you to know, I really do appreciate all the effort each of you put in to reviewing these and being here and putting your time in. And Audra will be advertising in the paper for another commissioner. If you know of someone that you think might be really good, you know, I encourage them to submit a interest form with Audra. I really liked having the full commission, you know, I think each one of you have your own history, your own background, and you bring your own thoughts to bear here, and sometimes you influence each other and sometimes you don't, but I think that's good, having a full board. And that was what was difficult about that one meeting, we only had 3 people here, so it was hard.
I was sorry for letting down.
I was
No,
under,
that's not.
I didn't even know if we had a quorum there. How do you consider we had a quorum? I don't have any idea, but I asked Les Downs, he said we did. He said at that time there, we'd be considered a 5-member board
Yeah.
instead of a 7.
Mhm.
So if you have a 5-member board, you had 3, well, you have a quorum.
Yeah, we had 3 out of 5, so that was good. So that's everything I had, and we will be looking into some training of different types. If you have certain things specific things you want training on, then be sure and let us know. And we'll-
Robert's rules.
So we only have.
Robert's rules.
Robert's rules.
Training on Robert's rules.
And I started looking up some of those things, and it's confusing, there's
It is
things all
very
over
confusing.
parliamentary procedure and all that, so, okay, I'll make a note of that.
Just, I ordered an old edition Robert's Rule Book from, the year I was born. I hope that they haven't rewritten and changed a lot of stuff, because I thought it'd be kinda cool to have an old antique, first edition Robert's Rule Book to look at.
So you're telling us how old you are?
Thanink you all.
Thank you.
I move that we
Thank you,
adjourn.
George.
Thank you.
That's all, I guess we have adjournment, gentlemen.
Second.
Get out of here. What do you do? What do you do?
I'm a